morning. It is Monday, February 24th, the day after D-Day, because Friday, everybody may have panicked. So, what do? Well, first thing I would do is go to Linktree and I would get yourself some charts, whether it's Trendspider, whether it's Seeking Alpha, whatever you need to. But I would definitely be going to my newsletter right here. I did a full podcast on Friday. Buffett has a record amount of cash. Is the market going to crash? This was a 57-minute podcast for you. I'd be happy to give you a 7-day free trial if you want. I mean, I think they're up there. So you can read it, you can watch it. But I did that podcast for you. So the doomsayers are out. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about if you're one of those people who puts milk in the bowl before your cereal, you are psychopath. So we'll talk about people like that. We'll talk about stop losses because I got a question about that. We will talk about having your shopping list available. 10 things that the Warren Buffett Berkshire letter taught us over the weekend. Palantir, we'll talk about rising stars from Goldman Sachs. They give a list. Some of the most overbought stocks. We'll talk about Bill Ackman's biggest hits and misses. We'll talk about some of the chip stocks that are bullish going into NVDA earnings, because let's be honest, it is all about NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. We'll talk about AppLovin and some other big stocks that Goldman Sachs thinks are bullish. The biggest crypto hack happened just this morning. So we'll talk about one stock. If you're willing to stick it out, I will talk about one stock that I think is really, really good. We'll talk about a signal in the market. Microsoft is actually stopping or canceling some leases on some data centers. Is that a fuel for a bear fire? Maybe. For paid members, I'm going to go over the most trending and most active stocks in Seeking Alpha. So we'll look at some of that stuff. But let's go over Qs, because we did have this turnover on Friday. And you'll see the candles. I mean, if I can't tell you the importance of watching charts, technicals and fundamentals are both important. You need to understand what you own. And if you own QQQ, you saw an enormous 1.753 candle. Boy, look at what happened in December, 3.53. Look at what happened in January. You had a 1% candle. Look what happened in November. You had a 1.3% candle, okay? It happens. When you get oversold, it happens. When you look at a weekly, we're still trending up. We're still trending up. You're still over the 9-day. So am I concerned? It's stretched. I would like to see a 5 to 10% pullback. Then I'd unload the entire amount of cash that I have. VOO, same kind of thing. When we look at it, huge candle down. Then you look at a weekly, we're kind of sideways. It is what it is. Small caps fared the worst. IWM. We're in this range between 212 and 244. And look, you've been in that range since what? September? You've been in that range. We've broken that trend down. Look at the weekly on it. Get yourself some charts, okay? Make sure you have charts, whether it's free charts, whether it's Trendspider, whatever you want. But make sure you have charts. And again, this top link is Trendspider. Go and get a 2-week trial. $20. If you're nervous about this, spend the weekend or spend an hour a day learning charts. Learn candlesticks, learn MACD, learn RSI, learn Bollinger Bands, learn trend lines, learn how volume, and then go and actually paper trade in Savvy Trader. Build up your muscle. Because in bull markets, you're going to see headlines like this. Bank of America says growth stocks are in a bubble exceeding the .com and Nifty 50 errors, and warns they could take the S&P down 40%. They're out. That was published just last week. Okay? Look at the date on the article, by the way. February 15th. Let's go and look at the QQQ on February 15th. Because that was published on February 15th. Let's see. Where were we on February 15th? February 15th, it was a Saturday. February 14th, we closed at, 538. Where are we trading right now? 528. So if you're worried about something like this, then you shouldn't be in the market. If this is keeping you up and you're reading that, understand you need to read charts. And if you can't look at this chart, if you can't look at a weekly or monthly chart and understand that we are in an upward trend, you don't understand charts. Again, this green line is anchored right at a COVID low. And does it anchor against this low? No, you want to touch 3 lines. And you can see the August 5th low touched that line. Right here in October, we touched that line. We used this line as resistance here in November on the way up. We used it as resistance here on February 6th, 2023. So this is a long-term trend line. I'm not going to get concerned until we come down to that trend line. Right now, you're in a bull market. So if you're getting scared about these headlines, again, you may be one of those people, one of those psychopaths who puts milk in a bowl before your cereal. I don't understand who did. I saw it this weekend. Those people are psychopaths. But hey, to be honest, maybe you're not a psychopath, because what do we have to be nervous about this week? We have NVDA earnings. Growth needs to continue to be crazy. Okay. NVIDIA is expected to report $38 billion in revenue, which would be 72% higher than the revenue at the same time last year. The delta from 93% growth to the expected 93% growth is what they did last year compared to the year before. It's 72%. Again, it's a larger company. And so the growth is slowing down. Is that going to make the stock go down? Who knows? If they don't hit 72%, you could see the stock trend down to 100. If the growth comes in even a little bit lower, or even if the growth comes in as expected, you could see selling increase. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the number. Nobody knows what the stock reaction is going to be. Nobody knows. So it could cause a chain reaction with AI cloud providers. That would be all that would be needed. We'd also see PCE coming in later. So inflation is another thing to be worried about. We saw last week what inflation did. PCE is anticipated to come in hot this week, February 28th. The PPI for January last week had some hot numbers in it. So the PCE, personal consumption, I forget what it is expected to be at 0.3%. Okay, which is the same as December. Core PCE is also expected to be 0.3% up from January's 0.2%. So it's strong. It's strong. We have bad things in the market, but is it horrible? No. Does it justify this headline? Probably not, until it does. So if you're uncomfortable about it, make sure you have a portfolio that can sustain it, and make sure you have a plan. My plan shouldn't be your plan. My plan has always been, I look at long-term charts. When to decide and sell, that is my decision. And for you, it's your decision. Nobody else, unless you're paying them 2% and 20% of your gains. That's what's called a hedge fund. That's what's called an advisor. Okay, unless you're paying them the 2 and 20, you need to make this decision. Nobody else can help you make this decision. Somebody might tell you, oh my God, it's the Nifty 50 and it's the .com. And then you sell, and then we're up 10%. And then who are you going to blame? That person or yourself? One or the other. Mike from Australia asked me, he says, hey, why do you rarely mention stop losses? In a down market, don't you want a stop loss? The reason I rarely mention stop losses, if you go and look at textbooks on trading, they always mention stop losses. They always tell you, put in stop losses. I'm not a stop loss guy. I've rarely used them. I've used them several times. I don't like them. And it's not that you shouldn't like them. If stop losses are part of your strategy, have at them. Use them. I don't. I am authentic as you can be. I tell you guys exactly what I'm doing. There is no reason for you to follow me. That is part of the reason why I try not to have personal portfolios up here. I do have a trading portfolio, and I try and put up some portfolios as examples, but I don't have my personal portfolio up here. If I am making moves in the trading stocks that I put up on Savvy Trader, you know about them, but it's not my whole portfolio. And the reason is I want you to learn. I don't want you just to follow me. But you know who else doesn't like stop losses? Warren Buffett. He's never used a stop loss in his investment strategy. He has criticized them as irrational, likening them to selling a house you like at a discount just because its market value temporarily dropped. Buffett focuses on long-term value investing and believes the stop loss are incompatible with his approach to the short-term focus. I'm a long-term buy and hold guy. And so I believe more in Buffett than I do in a stop loss. And where did I get that from? I just asked Perplexity. Use AI. Use AI. So last week was a tough week for a lot of people. I got a lot of people panicking. And so I did an emergency podcast. You know, that Saturday podcast, I usually don't do one, but I did it as a favor to most people. My buy and hold muscle may be a little bit stronger than others. Here's trending stocks in a bearish week. SMCI was up. Carvana fell despite their big growth. Walmart fell. Buy the dip on that one. BABA was up 11% last week. Palantir came in it was hugely down. Cruise operators crashed because of some guy, the commerce secretary saying, hey, we might want to, charge them, taxes, even if they fly in a foreign flag. Probably not going to happen. Overreaction. Intel higher. Because the reports that Taiwan Semi and Broadcom may be buying them. Trading desk declined. That was a huge one. A huge decline. Rivian gained after it reported. Nikola plummeted 35%. Unity, after they announced that they're going to take on AppLovin. I have a full podcast about that last week. And HIMS crashed or soared 40% after they bought the home thing. But I think it's crashed on Friday. But again, have your stocks ready. Know which ones you want to buy. Have a plan. That's what it's all about. Here are the top-rated defense stocks. If you think we're going down, maybe healthcare is the way to go. And these aren't defensive like, national security defense stocks. These are defensive in stocks when the market goes down. Typically, healthcare, consumer staples, and utilities don't. So the top 5 quant-rated stocks in healthcare, consumer staples, and utilities. This might be a good list for you. Industries that typically hold up well. U.S. stock market on Friday posted the worst day of the year as soft economic data led investors to reprice the market for risk. Again, check out the VIX. The VIX spiked. Remember, we talked about the VIX? We talked about the VIX, but wanting to be at 20. It's down 2% today. What's in the pre-market? We're up. Wants to be at 20. As it dips down closer to 15, you're going to see it want to go to 20. And what did we see? See that? We see it go down to 15 and it popped to, 19, I think, at the day. 1827. Good year. Good year for wine, I guess. So this is an article. Get your shopping list ready. Get your shopping list ready. He puts out 5 different stocks: Affirm, Reddit, Snowflake, VRT, Vertiv, and Amazon. Five of them. And he tells you why. He tells you exactly why. Again, get your shopping list ready. Make sure you have a watch list. I went over in the podcast, making sure that you have a watch list. When you sign up for Trendspider, I send you the watch list that I have. Doesn't mean it has to be your watch list. You should absolutely be setting up your own watch list. Now, here's the advice that Warren Buffett gave in his letter. The Oracle of Omaha has spoken. How he views equities. Okay. Good businesses over cash equivalent assets. Wait for the right time. U.S. exceptionalism. Some outliers. Top holdings. Apple makes up 28% of marketable equities portfolio. The next biggest stakes are American Express, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Chevron, Occidental Petroleum, and Moody's. That's it. Now, I am going to put in the newsletter. I posted it as a chat, but I'm going to put it in the newsletter. The 10 things that Buffett basically said. It's basically bulletized with quotes from Buffett. I'm going to put it up there. I'm going to put it in the newsletter. Berkshire Hathaway's equity holdings will always exceed its cash pile. That's what Buffett says. He doesn't worry about, hey, I've got a record amount of cash on the sidelines. The equities always will exceed the cash pile. He sold out of VOO. He sold out of SPY. Does he expect some things to go wrong in this market? He doesn't say. He doesn't say. He just says, I'm still invested heavily in America. Okay? And Palantir, they warned about this week's sell-off. It's down 4%. It's at $97. Let's look at a chart because the fundamentals obviously don't matter on this stock. You could look at the fundamentals. They do not matter whatsoever. And you've got a gap from the earnings between 87 and 98. You're trading in pre-market at 97. You have started to fill the gap. And you can see the gap right here on February 20th, the low, 95. You have started to fill the gap. Will it completely fill? I don't know. But when it gets down, make a plan. When it gets down to that 84, I expect that to be support. Start adding to it. Again, the fundamentals don't matter. And you know what's ironic on this one? This one was a strong buy in the quant. Right here at 124, it was a strong buy. The quant is not perfect. Okay? When it holds up like that, you can see the only thing that happened was the valuation went from an F to a D. And now it's back to a hold. So the quant's not perfect. What does Wall Street think? Wall Street thinks the damn price target is 87. Boy, where's that support right there? 84? As it starts to get down there, make a plan. If this fits your risk strategy. For me, I'm not planning on adding any Palantir. I'm just not. I may miss out on the legendary run. I sold out at 25. Make a plan. This is not about following me. It's about making sure that you're doing what lets you sleep at night. I very likely will get into this when the algorithm next tells me a buy. It hasn't told you to get out. It got you in at 70. The algorithm most likely will get you out in the next day or so. Just knowing the formula of the algorithm, it will most likely get you out. The RSI is at 43. It's oversold. But then you go take a look at a weekly chart. This thing is still super, super high. Boy, that 84 doesn't look so far down. And it doesn't look all that bad. But then if you get down there, the next level of support that I see is 60s. So I'm not adding to this one, but if you think this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, go and add to it. Goldman Sachs says that these are the rising stars with stock's largest changes in popularity, including Walt Disney, Salesforce, Robinhood, Boeing, Arthur Gallagher, Coupang, AppLovin, Stifel, Amazon, Marvel, Booz Hamilton. Okay, there's a ton of them in here. Go and research them. These are Russell 1000 IWB stocks. Go and research them. Stocks with the largest increase in number of hedge fund investors have historically outperformed their sector peers during the quarters that follow their rise in popularity. It's a good list. It's a good list. Now, tariffs could add new cost pressures on an already tight power grid faced with surging demand. This is all about utilities. This is American Electric Power. This is Dominion Energy. This is Duke. This is PPL Corporation. This is all about power and utilities. It could add to cost pressures. That wouldn't be good for utilities. So again, there are reasons in this market to be nervous. But overall, I'm not nervous. If you're nervous, make sure you have a plan. Okay? A plan can't be, let's go follow Bill Ackman. This douchebag, he's got a mixed biggest hits and winners. I mean, we could talk about Canadian Pacific. Overall, the Canadian Pacific has been one of Pershing Square's biggest winners, netting the firm $2.6 billion. CP is the symbol. Herbalife wagered $1 billion against Herbalife. This was the famous one where Carl Icahn and him got on air and just started freaking having it out. It was great. Chipotle sets his eyes on Chipotle following a food safety crisis. He won on this one. Invested $1.2 billion back in 2016. Great play. Target. Attempt to shake up Target retailer failed. In 2009, the company's shareholders rejected Pershing Square's slate of proposed directors. Okay, sold all his shares in the company in 2011. That was not a good thing because the stock soared. My point is, don't follow. Make sure you have your research all set. Okay? Now, let's be honest. It's all about NVIDIA. It's all about NVIDIA. What chip stocks with the best momentum going into NVIDIA? This is a list of 10 chip stocks that are based on the semis, okay? The semi equipment. Industry leaders such as NVIDIA, Broadcom, and Marvell have benefited from the ever-increasing demand for semiconductors. Here are the list of 12 semiconductor stocks with the highest momentum according to the Seeking Alpha quant rating system. It's just momentum. I've said it before. Momentum is the strongest portion of that quant rating. Okay, the quant rating is over here. You can see it. It's valuation, it's growth, it's profitability, it's momentum and revision. Momentum is the strongest one, I would say. And right now, the NVIDIA is a hold. I mean, let's take a look at it from a fundamental standpoint. The valuation stretched. The PEG ratio, which I argue, and I agree with Steve Kretsch after he told me about it. He told me about the PEG ratio. I went and did a full weekend deep dive into the PEG ratio. What is it? What stocks do I hold? What are the PEG ratio? I went in totally, all in. The PEG ratio is 1.19. What's the sector? 1.76. You want it close to 1. What's the PEG ratio for the trailing 12 months? 0.23. When you look at the growth, it's A+. The reason is 152% revenue growth year over year. We just went over. They're expecting 78% for their revenue growth going forward. The forward revenue right now is 93. I don't think they're going to get 93. If they get 93, this goes back up to Wall Street's price target is, which is 172, 28% upside. There are 62 analysts that cover this one. Okay, revisions, 11 up on earnings per share, 1 down, 15 up on their revenue revisions on revenue, 2 down. So do I expect this one to be big? Yes. Is it priced into the actual stock price? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's priced in. Everything is priced into the market. You look at this one, and I said it, I may have said it before we came on there. The resistance is 140. It's been clear that resistance is at 140. That goes all the way back to June of last year. What did hit June of last year? 140. Then it got up over 140 here in November. Then it got up here over 140 at 153 in January. Then in late January, it got to 148. Okay? Here in February 24th, we got to 143 last week. But you see the MACD's going down. The RSI's going down. Technically speaking, I don't think this is crazy. But when you look at the valuation, it's just a little bit stretched. It's just a little bit stretched. So here are the stocks that Goldman Sachs, here are the stocks that are reporting this week. We'll talk about, other ones that report. Snowflake, Salesforce, Zoom, C3 AI, Home Depot, Lowe's, eBay, Beyond. It's a huge week. I mean, go and look at this week. It's an enormous, enormous week. Zeta, which is a alpha pick. Dell reports, which is one that I have some. Sound reports. Rocket Lab reports. Fubo. Vistra, which is the big winner from last year on the S&P. TD Ameritrade, Toronto Dominion. I'm sorry. WBD. I watched, what did I watch? I'm watching The West Wing on HBO Max. So, hey, call me a little out of touch. But there's big earnings this week. Get your plan together. Okay? This goes over each day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is NVIDIA, also Snowflake, Teladoc. Thursday, HP and Dell, which should be huge. Friday. It goes over each day, this article. And where do you get all these articles? Well, you go over to my link tree, okay? It's the second link. Get premium and Alpha Picks. Alpha Picks portfolio just kills it. Just kills it. Okay? The Alpha Picks portfolio has shown a total return of 102% versus just 30% for the S&P during the same period of time since July 2022. It's a fantastic portfolio. If you don't want Alpha Picks and premium, even though you save $159, go over to my link tree, and it's the third link. The third link is just Seeking Alpha. join them for a dividend investing forum on March 5th. You get a free 7-day trial. A free 7-day trial. You can join this virtual event with a free 7-day trial and $30 off. But I use Seeking Alpha, period, for all of their quant stuff, for finding stocks. You can go over here, top stocks, Mind, BBAR, ICAGY, PAGP, Synchrony Financial, MFPG, ALK, MPLX, which I've owned for a long time. That's number 10. It's in the top 10. So you can do a lot on Seeking Alpha. Okay, NVIDIA likely to offer up clear beat and raise. This is Dan Niles for, is it Dan Niles or, yeah, Webbush. The $325 billion of CapEx from the Magnificent Seven in 2025 is a $100 billion increase year over year. Enterprise-driven demand in accelerating as more companies and governments, remember Project Stargate, head down the AI yellow brick road. At the analyst wrote at the firm, we believe demand is far outstripping supply with Blackwell in the field. And after speaking with many enterprise AI customers, we have seen not one AI enterprise deployment slow down or change due to DeepSeek. Artificial intelligence is now believed to be roughly 10% of all IT budgets in 2025. So, again, it's all about NVIDIA. And NVIDIA secures 70% of Taiwan Semi's advanced packaging for 2025. Do you think they're doing that because demand has gone down? Now, do I know what the stock is going to do? Absolutely not. No, I don't know what the stock is going to do. I can just tell you where the stock is, what the valuation is, what people are saying about it. Am I going to do more? No. Am I buying more at 136? No, because I've identified 140 as the top. And if you didn't, say you say, well, when should I buy it? Well, the 4-hour algorithm over the last 24 months makes you 338%. Buying and holding makes you 523. Buying and holding is better. But if you needed to get out or get in, the 4-hour algorithm is a good one. Now, it got you in here at 141, which again, would I have gotten in at 141? No. Did I buy more at 136? You bet I bought more at 136 back here because there wasn't earnings within 2 days back here. And you look at the MACD and it was way down here. Did I buy at 127? You bet I bought at 127 there. The 4-hour algorithm works for things like this. You have to have a strategy. But 2 days before the earnings with a curling MACD and the RSI at 54 in no man's land, am I looking to buy? Nope. But my strategy doesn't fit yours. I have a ton of this in my portfolio. If you don't, why not? Because you're not me. That's it. AppLovin, CRH, among the shared favorites for fund managers, Goldman Sachs says. These stocks that are both hedge fund and mutual fund favorites have a track record of outperforming, but at the expense of higher volatility. Okay? Since 2013, shared favorites have delivered an annual return of 16% with a standard deviation of 21%. I have no freaking clue what that means, but I love AppLovin. Okay, differing views on financials. You can look at this stock. You can read that, go and type it into Perplexity and say, explain it to me like a 5-year-old, because that's what I would probably be doing. Now, in crypto news, Bybit, $1.5 billion stolen from Ethereum wallet in largest ever crypto heist. And what did it do? It sent up crypto. Ethereum's up like 2%. It was tracked back to North Korea. Now, I suggest, and I do this myself, I buy Bybit. Bybit is part of the core portfolio. Has it traded well? No. You go all the way back here to November, and it's traded kind of sideways. Is it setting up for a bigger move? Well, look at the MACD in November when it was trading at the level it is today. It was trading in November. It closed at 50, it opened at 55, closed at 53. Okay? What are we trading at today? Let's see, on Friday, it opened at 54. It closed at 54. On Friday morning, it closed at 53. So you've got the same range here. And you see a clear sideways trade here. If we just draw a line from the top and the bottom and we look at that, that's a sideways trade. Do you want to trade below it and just sell it when it gets up there? Maybe, because look at the MACD. Look at how the MACD has come down. Learn your indicators. Weekly chart. We don't even have a 200-day. We just got a 50-day, and that is down at 43. You've got a gap here, which gaps need to be filled. Will this one get filled? I don't know. MACD looks super high. RSI is at 58. You're not oversold yet. But again, with crypto in the news, I'm just going to buy, and I'm going to buy on the 4-hour algorithm. The 4-hour algorithm doesn't come close to beating buy and hold. But I want to get into this for the long term. So did I buy more at 55? You damn well believe I bought more at 55. Again, find out a strategy. And that's my strategy. What's yours? Now, Nebius, for everybody listening this long, let me just add a stock into your watch list. You can pay for the newsletter because I went over this one a little bit. Read the Seeking Alpha Analyst. This is a Seeking Alpha Analyst publication from February 17th, which was 7 days ago. It's a strong buy. And they make some great points about Nebius. Okay, I like it. What is Nebius? Well, we can go over here. We can look at this. And it's a strong buy in the quant. Wall Street says it's a strong buy. Seeking Alpha, the analysts say it's a strong buy. Okay, it's got total greens. Momentum, it's an A+. Look at the returns over 1 year, 9 months, 6 months, 3 months. And if you want to know what it is, go and analyze with the AI report. Virtual Analyst Report. It's a technology company specializing in full stack infrastructure for the global AI industry, headquartered in Amsterdam. I went over this. They just reported earnings, and you can see it was down 7%. Is that a buying opportunity? Well, we can go and look. Average price target on Wall Street is $60. Let's go over to Seeking Alpha, and we'll type in Nebius, and we can see, did anybody change it? January 13th, BWS initiated with a $51 price target. A $51 price target, whereas it's trading 36 right now. So I'm going to leave it in there. I did go over it last week for the paid newsletter. James Ford, who is a podcast favorite, Nebius Q1, $1 billion in average recurring revenue is only half the story. Again, he says it's a strong buy. And he said it was a strong buy January 29th. He reiterated strong buy. January 29th, he's up 24%. 24%. Hey, there's just a little kind of thing. Now, one nugget to kind of stick in your fear mind, okay? Your fear and greed mind. Research note that's raising eyebrows. Microsoft reportedly canceling data center leases. It's kind of a big deal. You know, it's not I wouldn't call it a red heron or a canary in the coal mine, but it's a big deal. Now, Microsoft is down 0.71%. The market just opened. It's 935 right now. Wall Street says this one's a strong buy. The quant says it's a hold. Microsoft closing data centers. They have said that they will spend $80 billion, I think, this year on infrastructure. I don't know whether that's just, hey, we're going to bring back data centers from foreign lands to here in the U.S. I don't know if it's structuring, but it is kind of a big deal. And it's something to keep an eye on, because if this is the start of Microsoft and others actually responding to DeepSeek, again, that's a bad sign for the market. It goes down from there, meaning that, you know, again, if you see them reduce their data centers and they're reducing spending, maybe that means it's a little slowing down. Now, I will say, Microsoft, algorithm manager in here, 410. It's trading at 404 right now. I would not have bought this 410 until it got up here to 412, and I would have added a 412. I already have plenty of Microsoft in my portfolio. I'm not looking to get rid of it, but I have noticed it's trading sideways. It's just not a great trade right now, and that goes back to January of last year. Where was it trading in January of 2024? 398. Where are you trading right now? 404. That's not a great 1 year return. The MACD has gone down. Have we seen a change? No, the valuation's still stretched. It's still stretched, and their growth just not fantastic. It's okay. It's not fantastic. 15% revenue growth year over year. The problem is that you're trading 30 times forward earnings. So the growth has to be better than 15%. It just has to be. And so that's why you're seeing people say, hey, get out of the Mag 7. They just haven't performed that great. You can look at Apple. I mean, go to a weekly chart on Apple and you'll see. Have we seen it go upward? You're seeing this particular one going back to July of 2023. You're seeing resistance right there at 198 at 200. Where did it pull back to? August 5th of 2024? It pulled back to 200. And where's it pulling back to now? 220, 230? That's what's providing you support. So for the paid members, I'll have an additional kind of half hour, maybe 15, 20 minutes on trending and most active stocks, where to find it on Seeking Alpha, all of that stuff. If you have any questions, hit me up. Again, the Daily Stock Pick newsletter, that full podcast has a lot more about the market, a lot more about where my strategies are going, things of that sort, because they do get into it a little bit more with the watch list and the Daily Stock Pick core portfolio. But that's it. Have a great day. I will be back tomorrow. What do we have after our hours today? We have HIMSS reporting. I wouldn't expect that one to be like, oh my God, we're going to see crazy stuff. But you've seen, I've seen crazier stuff before. We got Riot Platforms, which is a crypto miner. We've got Zoom. We've got TEM, which is Nancy Pelosi's favorite. This one's projected to lose 15 cents. Imagine if they lose the 25 cents that they reported last time. And Nancy Pelosi goes down from $71 down to $20 again. But yeah, there's a lot of earnings. Go and look at them. If you want me to look at earnings for something, just let me know. But you should be able to type all of this stuff into an AI agent. Perplexity, ChatGPT. They said NVDA is the best investment for earnings this week. That's what it said on our Facebook group. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Okay, see you, bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.